Hi, it's Dwyer. It is November 12th, 2025. GamblersAdvisory.com, a free site. Wealthspinning.blogspot.com, a free site. Nothing I say in this video should be construed as investment advice. I want everyone to do their own due diligence. Remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. If I mention a stock in this video, your operating assumption should be that I either am thinking of owning it, or already own it. Okay, those are my thoughts. Let's dive into it. Folks, as I make this video, Tesla is on the verge of manufacturing humanoid robots, its Optimus line, to disintermediate factory workers. Right? Just understand, AI is already disintermediating computer coders. You might notice that companies that are laying off workers, Microsoft, Google, are actually reporting great earnings. Right? They're laying off workers because their work is no longer needed. Right? You may have heard that Amazon's warehouses have as many robots as they do human workers. Well, Elon Musk wants to take the extra step. You have factories that are built for humans. Without reconfiguring the factory structure, Elon Musk wants to enable producers to replace human workers with robots, his robots, right? He's hoping to have a price point of about $20,000 per robot. And understand, humans can't match the low costs of robots because humans require things like breaks. Humans have to sleep. They want to leave work. They can't live in the factory. Understand, certain rules are no longer required. Workplace safety isn't the same priority if you're dealing with non-humans, if you're dealing with robots. There's significant cost savings. Let me point out the obvious here. If Elon Musk is successful, this is going to spread from factory to factory in all 50 states of the United States. It's going to spread internationally. Right? You're also at a time when we're talking about inflation, we're talking about watered down dollars. Folks, this would also be one of the most deflationary shocks to the economic system. Right? How can I raise prices if you have workers en masse getting displaced, becoming unemployed? Right? Think about some company towns right now. Right? They're factory towns. Most of the people work for the factory. Suddenly, you're going to disintermediate them. Can the town itself survive? Folks, today we don't have the answers to those questions. Right? We assume, too, that robotics will cause more people to be unemployed and, receive universal basic income. Right, folks? That might not be how things roll out. I think we understand that UBI would breed dependency. What the government might actually want instead is for people who have been displaced to actually have to work for women's shelters, homeless shelters, teaching kids. There might be incentives that the government puts in place that the displaced have to fulfill in order to get their government assistance. And understand, that might be the best outcome, because idle hands sometimes can lead to social unrest. You want people to feel like they're engaged, like they have a stake in the world around them. And of course, there is a big need for help at the women's shelter, help at, school, helping kids learn, etc. Right? So understand, people might be displaced. We might move away from a market-based system to some hybrid where instead of welfare, you have workfare. But let's get back to investing. What I want people to understand is that China has many more people than the United States. China has factories where people work. Right? In China, they want to displace manufacturing workers. Right? AI is taking out the top end as it is. AI is taking out computer coders in China, just like it is in the United States. Well, that's not enough. Why pay an ongoing salary if I can just buy a robot and have the robot replace the worker? So you have a company that we'll call an analog company to Tesla, operating in China right now. Be aware of it. It's called XPeng. XPng. Again, XPng. Look it up. Now, while Elon Musk has its Optimus robot, XPeng has its Iron robot. The forward PE for Tesla is above 213. For XPeng, it's over 70. Considerably cheaper. In a country with many times the size of the United States. Right? You're an investor. You're looking at the size of the market. You're looking at the cost savings. You're looking at the current trend. Right, folks? If you're interested in Tesla because of robotics, you need to be taking a look at XPeng because of robotics. Understand, like Tesla, XPeng also manufactures electric vehicles. Right? I want us to stay in China for a bit here too. Right? Just understand, artificial intelligence is a game changer. As I've mentioned here in the past, this background here is AI created. Right? Artificial intelligence really has changed things. Now, of course, Sora and other AI platforms are creating mini movies. You know that that's going to continue to increase to the point where you might be able to disintermediate some movie studios. Right? Maybe not the entire studio, but let's say some entrepreneur is going to say, hey, I have a movie. This plot is genius. The plot itself might be AI written. Understand, you now have AI actors. Right? So we can say, hey, this actor created by AI, right, who doesn't really exist outside the digital world. But that actor is going to save us the money. If that actor becomes a star, like some of these TV people have become stars, aren't the people from Friends in the 90s making $20 million a year each off residuals? Just imagine if you could save all of that. How many producers are there going to be suddenly? Right? If the cost of a film drops precipitously, even if the powers that be are hesitant, if you sell it like you sell independent movies, where it's financed and then the studio buys the film, you might make a profit. Right, folks? Your likelihood of making a profit greatly increases when your costs drop precipitously and when you own the talent. I mean, literally. Not a human under a long-term contract, but a figure you've made. Right, so folks, AI is changing things. So as we look at American companies, right, and as we, think of, companies like Amazon, right, with a forward PE in the 30s, right, as we think of Microsoft with a forward PE in the 30s, just consider Alibaba, Jack Ma's company in China. Right, folks? Here again, you're talking about AI, you're talking about high name recognition in Asia, you're talking about a target market that's actually bigger than the United States, and you're talking about a PE for Alibaba, as I make this video, to the best of my knowledge, that's below 24. Right, folks? If you believe, as I do, that AI is game-changing technology, then whoever gets the inside track in owning the AI market in China is going to be a Goliath. Right, folks? Alibaba, right now, a major contestant, is selling for less than 24 forward PE. Let me also shock people here. According to my information, right, the information I've gleaned from publicly available sources here online, the current forward PE for Meta, right, and understand the moat Meta has, right? Think of how many people each day use Facebook. Think about the sourcing for their large language model. It's people donating, because Facebook's free, in quotes, donating their content to Facebook. Facebook's not even paying for a huge portion of it. Just understand that Facebook, as I make this video, has a lower forward PE right now than Alibaba, according to some online sources. Right, so pay close attention to analogs. Don't neglect foreign markets. Don't be an Alex Jones who talks about globalists and stuff like that. Folks, a market's a market. Hate to tell you this, but a market's a market. If you stumble upon groundbreaking technology, whether it's robotics, whether it's AI, just like the people in every country need food, the people in every country are always striving for greater efficiency. Right? You can't overlook the second most populated country globally. Right? The first, of course, being India. Right? Your operating assumption is that groundbreaking technology that's in high demand in the United States may also be in high demand in China. And just understand there's a political overlay. Right? Just like we want American companies here when we're talking about, groundbreaking technology that'll give Tesla an edge here over XPeng. As you can imagine, in China, they want homegrown companies to flourish. They don't want to rely on Tesla for robotics to replace factory workers, even though, of course, Tesla has a gigafactory in China. So their political considerations also recognize, too, that the XPeng iron robot that was recently showcased, for those of you doing due diligence and looking up these companies, showcased recently, has a different price point than the Optimus robot from Tesla, right? The iron robot that they showcased is selling for over $100,000 right now. Tesla is trying for a much lower price point. that could lead to faster dissemination. Food for thought. Give it a look. XPeng, Alibaba, right? Just recognize that AI is not just a story in the United States, it's global. And you need to look at markets and ask yourself which companies here, for whatever reason, technological, political, have the inside track with the local government, right? Just think about how far ahead of the United States China is right now in terms of their electrical grid, in terms of their use of nuclear energy, right? You didn't have the conflict that you had in the United States concerning windmills and clean energy, right? You know, code words in presidential elections that got votes, but that left the U.S. holding the bag in terms of technological development vis-a-vis other countries, right? Well, just understand, you know, China, they're ramping up data centers too, folks. They have more electrical resources than we have. They're a centralized government. You know, libertarian, love freedom. With freedom comes messiness and public discourse, right? In China, let's say some decisions are made a lot faster than they are in the United States. You, as an investor with an opportunity to invest in XPeng, as well as Alibaba, right, are getting those companies right now at cheaper prices than Tesla and most of the Mag 7. Let me hear what you think. I hope you leave your comments in the comment section of this YouTube video. Thanks for stopping by.